All right. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday, December 5th, 2024. Let's kick things off for the show. So, folks, I'll begin the show by saying when I woke up yesterday, there are a few things that get me to bolt upright out of bed in the morning. Then a headline that states, health insurance CEO assassinated in broad daylight in midtown Manhattan, suspects still at large. So as soon as I heard that, I knew, look, we got to solve this. Not in my city, fellas. Not in my city. So Felix and I, we've raised a posse to track down this scofflaw, and we've got two of the baddest hombres we know. That's right. From Pendejo time, it's Thomas and Jake joining us.
Hello.
How's it going? Thank you for having us.
Bounty Law. We're tracking down the healthcare killer, and we're bringing him to justice.
Swift, Texas.
Yeah,
style.
I just got back from Equinox, which is sort of like, that's to me, like John Wick's hotel. I'm always getting dragged into the steam room and sort of like chased around like Scooby-Doo and cummed on by all the vest guys in there. And because the killer was, I would say definitely wearing one of those jackets that you get from an Instagram ad.
Yes.
This time I was like, I was undercover there. I was kind of like Raylan Givens visiting Boyd Crowder.
He was dressed like Mikey Miles. He has a distinct Milesing garb. Yeah, I got jerked off by 17 guys, and I didn't find out anything. God,
but have you guys gotten anywhere?
If there's one thing I've learned is that I don't think since 9/11 has the entire American population been galvanized behind one guy.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was like, everybody wants to fucking kill each other. Everybody like Blue City, homo, red state, piece of shit, fucking libtard, Margaret. Everybody from like Mexican groyper teens to like weird communist shut-ins is like, fucking yeah, we got him. There's one guy who's like Aaron Rupar or whatever. He was like, I don't know about this one. I don't think we should. And his replies are like, kill yourself.
Yeah. Aaron Rupar, for people who don't know, he's the lib. He's not a jerk. He just like, he watches Fox News and is like, would you believe this?
Yeah.
He just like clips every Trump rally. But he looks, I think the Wojak thing is like played out, except for Groyper. I love him. But he looks exactly like Coomer. It's insane. Like, I'm not exaggerating. But yeah, everyone in his replies, everyone sits, like you said, the multiracial racist coalition to, people trapped in 2017.
Yeah.
And I even saw some like Blue Wave Deborah 1964s be like, he's rotting in hell.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was like, you get the lib.
People like, my thoughts and prayers are out of network, so unfortunately I won't be sending them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love seeing that.
So when I saw the footage of this yesterday, I was like, obviously, I bolted up right out of bed. I'm holding out for a hero, a streetwise Hercules to hold us through the night. But I was like, then I watched the video and I was like, this guy's pretty smooth, and the fact that he got away seems sort of like professional to me. This seems like an Agent 47 situation and not a disgruntled customer. But then you hear today that he wrote deny, depose, defend on the shells.
I was talking with somebody about this. I think that like makes it more likely that this is like a troop that got fucked over, because deny, depose, what was the third one?
Defend.
Live, laugh, love.
Defend. Yeah. Okay. Depose is like, that's like, couldn't you see a cop or a troop thinking depose means despise? Like, it's like a very
dispatch.
like a cop filler word. Like, man, will you depose yourself over there while I fill this out?
The idiocracy police is like a disrespected individual while you sit I'm the perpetrated individual. Yeah. We're just like police language. Yeah.
I feel like it's I don't know if I'm the first one to say this, but I do feel like we live in a divided time. And I think for those of us who actually are interested in moving up in the insurance world, I think this is alarming to say the least. For those of us who actually take health insurance seriously and like it, a lot of people don't like health insurance nowadays, and they want they want it to stop. But for guys like us a CEO is sort of like a CEO of medicine is sort of like a doctor of health insurance. Correct. And when we start losing the elders like that, it does make you worry about.
We're losing recipes.
They say in the culture, we're losing recipes. When we start losing CEOs, we start forgetting how to run United Healthcare. That's what scares me.
Yeah, it's really sad because like in California where there's like hierarchy and respect, like this wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
because there's such a good culture around healthcare out there. Like Kaiser Permanente, even if they're beefing with other people, they still like there's respect for elders. But like out east and in Minnesota, especially, it's just a free for all.
I mean, I gotta say this. I gotta say this to Brian Thompson and his family. This all could have been avoided with a check-in with your boy Will Menaker. When you come in my city, you got to check in. And I feel like the Midtown New York Hilton. The New York Times had a great piece about this. The headline is, "A storied New York Hilton adds a grim chapter to its history." And I bring this up because Mo, who we had on last week, was like, "I'm glad the Times is checking in to see how the building is feeling with all this." But Felix, there was a staggering fact about this hotel. Take a guess what movie was filmed there, or what famous scene at the end of a movie was filmed at the New York
Michael
Hilton.
Clayton.
Michael Clayton, yeah.
This conversation is over.
I'm not the guy that you kill. I'm the guy that you buy. Are you so fucking blind you don't even see what I am?
This struck me. I think you said it, Felix. Like that movie is so. It's one of those like. It's one of my favorite smart dumb guy movies, and it's like that hit. I was like, God, I hope this is like a Michael Clayton thing. Like I want it to be because the movie is just. It's one of those things. But again, I also like the idea that it's just like like a minor bad guy in the Netflix Punisher series storyline guy, just kind of like a disgruntled Marine with like bad knees or something.
Yeah, that's what when I saw the footage, and you could tell this is going to be a hit because I've talked about the footage with like, in the family group chat. My immediate family, they're not big fans of watching people die. They don't
really.
Yeah.
My mom hates gore. My dad, he really hates assassination videos, Yeah.
Well, they don't watch any of the stuff I usually send them. They like, as a family, we like Goatsy, we like Lemon Party, we like all the classics.
Of course.
Like they don't like all the shooting videos I'm like. But they
like
were
sex,
talking
not
about
violence.
It. Yeah. Even they were talking about it. My first thought, because of how calm this guy seemed, I thought the same thing where it's like, I mean, I would, I think it would be so fun if this was like a Marine, a Force Recon guy or SOF or whatever guy who got fucked over. And then, they just statistically, they fucked with the wrong guy. And I was going against that because usually when you see a guy killed, it's like his wife is mad at him or it's usually Americans usually don't kill each other for good reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the times when someone gets fucked over by a company like United Health, their response is to like go to like a bouncy castle and kill all the kids in it for some reason.
Drive their truck into a ball pit.
Yeah. Like the typical American response is like, I lost my job. My wife is dying from like bile duct
You
cancer,
do Michael Douglas falling down shit. Like you just, yeah.
Yeah, my wife is dying of bile duct cancer. We're getting foreclosed on. Okay, I'm going to go to Discovery Zone with Novichok.
Yeah.
But the fact, like, I've sort of come around the fact that he, as we said, wrote stuff on the shell casings that are like things that a troop would find, especially like an upper tier troop.
Yeah.
It makes me think like, okay, if you're fucking over millions of people a year, there are so many like special forces guys in America, both past and present. You're gonna fuck over one,
Yeah. Well, I also was thinking like, and I'm not a New York home dog like you fellers. I'm still a down home fucking Nutra rat. So but you guys have the NYPD. They hang out on every fucking corner. This is what I found so interesting about a lot of things, but there's 200 cops on every goddamn corner. They're in all the subways. They have fucking the SUVs that roll around with the surveillance tech. and all of them, I guess, were playing fucking Candy Crush on their phones.
Yep.
Or they're like tasing black teenagers or like fucking
they
killing-
eat lunch all day.
Yeah, because it's like I'm not pro NYPD here, but I'm saying they tout themselves as like we got the most overtime and the biggest fucking pair of balls of any fucking police force. And then what happens is this guy at 6 a.m. as people are walking around with their Starbucks and their cigarettes is like, I'm gonna dumb this guy and then I'm gonna get on a bike and whistle Dixie the way home. Like he just fucking. He wasn't even that speedy about it. He has
to finish his paper route.
Yeah, the gun jams. He has time to fucking rack another one. It was cycling poorly. Racks it again, double taps him, gets on the bike and goes, and then just fucking heads on down the road. And I was thinking, when I was in New York last with Thomas, we were doing shows, and I was like, God damn, there are way more cops here than I remember. The last time I was in New York, like 2019. And then I saw that footage and I was like, where's the big fat like Jersey City transplant cop playing Candy Crush on his phone, and where's the skinny black like stud cop lady who's just like sitting there chewing gum louder than anybody has ever chewed gum before? and she's mean as hell. Where's she? Where's him? Like where they at?
It's because of DEI. They can't hire. They've hired so many cops now just because of handouts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, like I guess this will be the second or third episode in a row where I'm bringing up King Vaughn. But
awesome.
I mean, we did know each other, but I don't know how many people followed like the Chicago drill scene like 10 years ago.
Sure,
but like all the biggest guys in that scene would just like you could easily find their tweets that are still up from like 2013, where it's like, on my way to go kill this guy.
Yeah.
Just kill this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the gun I used to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Just thinking about last week when I killed this guy, and like no one ever goes to jail for these murders. I read something that like 40% of murders in like the highest crime areas in Chicago get cleared. Not even like taken to trial, but just like attempted to be solved.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I kind of think this guy's like I think he's gotten away.
Yeah, I think so too.
The NYPD did the Reddit thing where they're like, we found him.
Yeah. Dude, that guy that was like, I was scraping city bike data. And then, dude, that fucking, hold on, that fucking video he made that was like an Instagram, like Deftones Zoomer video. It was filmed on like a camcorder from like this. He was like, oh, I want it to look like a piece of history. And then somebody quote tweeted it. It's funny as shit. Was like, yeah, really smart to do something against a confirmed hitter is to film yourself with your window in the background in New York City. Say your full name. A guy who fucking had a silencer on his gun and then got away in broad daylight. Yeah, just say your name and put your whole apartment like in the fucking video.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it, dude.
Well, the thing I was struck by was that obviously it's like, they say the first 48, I mean, they're coming up on the hard limit right now. And that guy, I mean, he just like rode a bike into Central Park. Not a lot of cameras in Central Park, by the way. And then it just, he's Ghost. And obviously the little internet sleuths who are like, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. He lives with his Aunt May in Queens. I mean, they're trying to ruin everyone's fun. But I did see the NYPD is offering a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest of the shooter, which I got to say, if I collect that bounty, I can afford maybe 1.5 months of United Healthcare coverage. So I mean, what a fucking reward.
Thomas is looking to get it for his avocado toast. Ain't that right, Thomas?
Will, and I hate to push back here, but if you don't like United Healthcare, you can always start your own healthcare company.
Yeah, dude.
There's a lot of people obviously angry at the insurance industry. And Jake, like to your point at the top of the show, that this has been like similar to 9/11. This is United 99. This is United any American who's ever had health insurance to just be like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'm glad he's dead. But there is the 1% of the lanyard class who have just all chimed in to be like, I find it really distasteful to celebrate murder, open, unpunished murder in the streets. And it's just like, I gotta say, look, I think it's in poor taste to celebrate the murder of any human being because I think violence is wrong. But like, rather than celebrate his murder, I think we should just celebrate the fact that for whatever reason, he's in hell right now. And that's something, I mean, there precious few things to feel good about these days.
Yeah. And Also, like, I think there's a type of person who the best way they can feel smart is to be like, what is this? This thing that is clearly like the one small victory in a country full of L's for the last like fucking 60 years. Actually, it's bad, and here's why. And then 10 replies that are like, I'm the gayest guy that's ever lived. That's why. Like, there's not even the best argument is like, it's bad to kill. And it's like, okay, all right, Moses, who gives a fuck? Like, also, they picked the smarmiest LinkedIn photo. You didn't have one picture of that guy with his wife and kids.
Oh, dude.
They picked the shittiest picture to put up of it. He looks like a cocksucker, dude. Like, he looks so shit. Like, he's like all gums, barely any teeth. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he has permanent fiance smile. There's no picture. No picture of him. There's no fucking picture of him outside that goddamn fucking quarter zip.
Yeah,
it's like a life support system. And it's like, you could tell this guy he didn't think he could be touched. Because if I thought I was going to be killed, I was like, there should be some pictures of me in a t-shirt, in a suit, in a kimono, fat farm, like everything.
My boo-boo on.
Yeah,
I guess it's kind of ironic that he, I guess, cared so much about saving others' lives that he couldn't save his own.
Yeah.
You're right.
He was so dedicated to the cause.
But I mean, like, you know, obviously, like, okay, it's societally unoptimal for like the check on people like this to be just hoping that a random guy kills them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like, it's also, you know what else is fucking socially unoptimal? All of these people, anyone who runs a, you know, private health insurance company or anyone from the fucking AMA, anyone who is at any of the many rungs of unbridled fucking profiteering at the free-for-all healthcare system, feeling like they cannot be touched. And for good reason. Yeah. Feeling like anyone they fucked over, like we said, would just like, you know, at worst go shoot up a preschool. It wouldn't even touch them. It's not societally optimal for these people to just feel like they can get away with everything. And like, obviously it's like better for that to be done through regulation and through laws. But like, even in America, where most of these guys skate, the pressure valve has to get released sometime.
Yeah.
It's going to happen sometimes.
It's too like the fucking, I think there's a type of like person whose entire, I don't know, their identity is wrapped up in like being like their version, being right. And so any like these Aaron Rupar guys or the people, like I saw one guy that was literally doing the drill tweet that's like, actually there's no difference between good and bad things, you loser, you fuck, where he was like, if you believe political violence is good, well, what if your opponent wants to do violence to you? Ever thought about that? It was being serious. And I was like, well, my opponent is a guy who has a house, 10 of them, 2 boats. He's got 3 wives. He's got a huge penis and a lot of money. I have no boat, 1 house, small penis, no money. So he's holding all the cards and me by the balls. So if I get a little hard on in my Dockers because some guy blew his brains out all over Midtown, that is a little something for daddy. And you can't take that from me because you think there was better ways to go about getting that guy got, which there isn't. As last I checked, every time we try, it's like, no, we can't. What are we, North Korea? What are we going to put him in jail? We got to let them do whatever they want, you know?
Yeah.
I loved in the initial news coverage of this, like the best little news graph about this is Bloomberg News reported that company executives continued their presentations until 9:10 a.m. for a brother. So I love the idea of the corporate conference. Yeah. You will have a shitty continental breakfast. We're going to keep things rolling for another couple hours. And then the next thing it said, flags are flying half-mast at the United Healthcare corporate headquarters today, which is like, when one of your own falls.
Yeah, dude,
losing a CEO.
Do you know the thin blue line, and they have like the thin yellow line for security guys, and like the thin brown line
for loss prevention officers.
Yeah. It's just a thin green line, and it's just on a fucking North Face half zip, just like people putting it on the back of their Subaru Crosstreks and shit. They're like, oh, we got to protect these guys. They're just important to us.
The other thing is, like, I don't think this is like
I don't think this is presaging like an October revolution.
No.
Yeah. Nor do I think that like, okay, everything's going to be better now. Mm-mm. But like, I think 98% of people I've seen are just like, okay, well, one of these guys was finally on the other end of the shit.
Yeah.
That still, I guess, like has some political valence, but it really, all the lanyard guys are kind of like arguing, I guess, on a purely like moral standpoint. But it's just, I mean, you do kind of have to ask yourself, okay, again, why is everyone from like Music Groiper to, Blue Wave Betty?
Why is Hitler Rapist 1488 happy about this too? Like, what
everyone? It's the most united I've ever seen. Everyone.
Yes,
none of them think like, oh, this is going to fix everything. They're just everyone who
just one time.
Yeah.
Even the most socially isolated person with like very few friends or none at all, they at least know someone or they themselves that had some horrible fucking interaction with private health insurance.
Felix, to the Aaron Rupars and Zach Beauchamps of the world, to this, I simply have to say to them, people get shot every day, B. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Streets is not nice.
And you know what? It's just like, and then like I'm seeing a bunch of stories as well about how like the Fortune 500 companies are all on like Zoom calls right now with their security people, and like, God. They feel scared. And the thing is, like that's a rare occurrence in American life.
Yeah,
and it's just like. I don't know, like certainly I don't think anything good is going to come out of this, but if anything is good is going to come out of anything, it begins with these people beginning to feel afraid. And it's just like, forget like that the fact that they've made hundreds of billions of dollars, like just profiting off human misery and the denial of care, United Healthcare doing that more than just about every other private health insurance company. When I think about just like the dignity and time that these companies rob from people in like the last hours of their life, like where their loved ones have to like be playing a game of phone tag to like make sure that they're not left in a state of penury when their loved one, finally dies. I just think like someone needs to be punished for that. Something needs to happen to these people. And, and if you're going to say like, murder is wrong. It is wrong to take a life. But I mourn for his victims, not for this asshole. And like all of the news, but like, he was a family man who had a wife and 2 kids, and everyone said he was an affable bozo around the office who liked telling jokes. And it's just like I'm sure that's the case too. I'm sure like that's fine, but like he was the one who was the CEO. He was the one in that position. So you know what? Like, so someone's got to hold the bag.
That makes me hate him more. Like this fucking asshole who automated claims, put them on AI. They do all the like. Amber Rollo talked about how United Health claimed that our Matt was on Medicare when he's like 25 years too fucking young to qualify. So they purposely jam up the work so that you'll be too exhausted to even like get a claim from the shit that you're paying out the ass for. The fact that this guy is like throwing koosh balls like Rosie O'Donnell while he's doing that, it makes him grosser.
Yeah. I mean, I think you end up with the same, like, I like every time I see somebody try to be like, well, there's got to be a better way. We can't just be going around shooting people. And then it's like, well, every time you try, nothing sticks. So goddamn.
I'll say one more thing about the people, making light of this murder or celebrating the murder or using this as, an excuse to vent their anger about the U.S. healthcare system. Look, I got to say, there's an election coming up. And you got to consider like how this could help Donald Trump. Kamala's in it to win it, and I think we got to support her. I think we got to keep supporting her, and just think how the average moderate swing voter feels about this. So, like I said, keep organizing, keep working those phones. I think Kamala's still got it in her. But let's not help the Republicans, okay?
Yeah, and I hate to bring this up, but I can't be the only one who noticed this comes conveniently only a few days short of a couple months after the anniversary of October 7th. I have to wonder what all factors are at play here.
Can I sent you something, Thomas, on Instagram, and if you could open your phone and play it for Felix, because I want him to hear it. It's probably my favorite rap song out right now. This is a divergence for sure. but it is an IDF rap group, and brother, it is my favorite.
Give our family back that we conquered. First of all, let me set the record straight. I'm Mr. Al-Khai means we'll always live to fight another day. Nothing you could do or say will ever cause my mind to change. Like the ones before you came, the story really racing names.
He says, ceasefire now, no, give my family back. Now we're talking.
So I had this all the way up on my phone speaker, and I realized my neighbors could definitely hear it, and I kind of don't want that to be my thing as a neighbor.
So send me the Instagram link.
Yeah,
Chris,
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Ceasefire now. I want my family back, player.
Dude, it's like he's doing the white youth group rapper thing where he's standing with his feet too close together and he's like kind of walling it a little bit, and it's awesome because he's like, October 7th, change the game, motherfucker. I'm in it for the money and you're like, you aren't making a good case for any of your
October 7th coming up.
Glocktober, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
On the heels of my previous scientific discovery around rapping, which people will remember, I discovered that schizophrenics are, I've probably observed 7 to 8 people in my personal life who were normal, had a psychic break, and then immediately started rapping. I don't think, in comparison, I don't think the nation of Israel has ever rapped this much.
Yeah.
Like they're they're rapping so much.
I like that. This was like, I didn't mean to hard shift it so much, but John Fetterman went on Rogan, and it was like, I love that guy so much because people like 4 years ago were telling me that I had to like that guy, that he was like the future or whatever. And then, and now he's like, he'll post like the Israeli flag and he's like, hey, in case you forgot, fuck Hamas. It's like, it's at 5:42 in the morning on a Tuesday. And to your point about the schizophrenic thing, I'm like, did you wake up hearing the voices? And you were like, and that's what they told you to do? That's what they told you to post?
There's in his head whining all day.
You know what you have to do, John. You gotta go post it. Yeah.
He's getting synesthesia where like every color is just like ruin your son's birthday. You made him. It's like your birthday and you're sad.
I remember me and Thomas were
should
joking
be your birthday.
We were joking like, what does the voice in the head of like a guy like Stephen Paddock sound like? And I like the idea that in John Fetterman's, it's like, you're gonna have to go on Twitter and say you're gonna have to post it. Just like he drives me up a wall because it's like first of all, why do you look like every pedophile at a hardcore show? You can't be like I've played probably thousands of like screamo hardcore punk shows in my life, and he's the guy at the back that's like, yo, dude, sick set. Here's my 17-year-old girlfriend, Raven. I'm 39. And I like to take pictures. And you're like, pictures of what? And he's like, it's not important, but I'm a dope-ass photographer.
Israel gives him so much money, he convinces himself he can't eat fava beans anymore.
I have always wondered about that, like the economic crisis of every other man under 40 being a photographer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's enough money for like one guy to be a photographer, honestly.
I think maybe it's one of those, like when I was in high school and especially when I got to college, you would inevitably meet a guy who's like, I take pictures and it's like, oh, cool. And then you go to his Instagram and it's like just women in bathtubs with like, and the bathtub water is like black. And you're like, oh, you're going to be on the news in like 10 years. And I think after 2008, some guys you couldn't be in an indie band because that was saturated. You know what I mean? You couldn't wear fucking Toms to get pussy. So you had to start taking fucking boudoir photos or whatever the fuck.
In some ways, Chuck Berry was a documentary filmmaker, sort of an Werner Herzog or Errol Morris, maybe feeling a little little hot under the collar, feeling a little bit anxious or nervous. And this was in today's Washington Post. The headline is, "Fearful of crime, the tech elite transform their homes into military bunkers." And this is about like a new startup that's like a state-of-the-art burglar alarm system. And I just want to read a little bit from the article. It says here, "In the future, your home will feel as safe from intruders as a state-of-the-art military base. Cameras and sensors surveil the perimeter, scanning bystanders' faces for potential threats. Drones from a deterrence pod scare off trespassers by projecting a searchlight over any suspicious movements. A virtual view of the home is rendered in 3D and updated in real time, just like a Tesla's digital display. And private security agents monitor alerts from a central hub. This is the vision of home security pitched by Sauron, a Silicon Valley startup boasting a wait list of tech CEOs and venture capitalists. Co-founder Kevin Hartz, a tech entrepreneur and former partner at Peter Thiel's venture firm, the Founders Fund,
Of course,
named
Peter
the company after the villain in the J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, a disembodied evil spirit depicted as a fiery, all-seeing eye in the sky. It's a little overt, a little tongue-in-cheek, but it sends the right message, Hart said. The bad people, they know they're being watched. To which I gotta say, could these guys please read one other book?
Yeah. Who's the guy that makes missiles for Peter Thiel? He looks like Kenny Powers.
Palmer Luckey. Palmer Luckey, yeah.
Kenny Axis Powers. Yeah, he fucking he had that quote when people were talking to him. He was like, yes, he did the you know that video of the dog in the Daredevil mask when he's like looks real scary and tough. In the quote he's like, some men are dangerous, and as a dangerous man, it's up to me. Like when the True Detective monologue where Russ Cole is like, bad men keep other bad men from the door.
Oh yeah,
he said something. Yeah, he's like, the world needs men like me to keep evil. And it's like, dude, you have a Margaritaville shirt on and you make missiles for a gay billionaire. It's not like you're not the Punisher. I don't understand. And same thing with the house tech thing. Like what are they being protected from? What are they afraid of?
Yeah, am I the only one who actually would use that? Because I think that would actually be...
Well, like when it says that like there'll be like a real-time like 3D display of like movement around your house, like a Tesla. I don't even know what the benefit of having that in a Tesla is. So the idea when you're home, you're not like watching TV, you're just watching like a computer readout of like someone walking their dog past your house. But then here it says, Hartz and co-founder Jack Abram said they were driven to start the company after incidents at their homes in San Francisco's Presidio Terrace, an affluent gated cul-de-sac once home to politicians such as Nancy Pelosi and Miami Beach, respectively. Hartz said his security system failed to alert him and his wife when an intruder rang their doorbell and tried to enter their home late at night. I'd be like, isn't that a little eyebrow raising? Like, what? Someone was trying to enter their home at night and rang the doorbell?
Yeah. Well, that's like for all of the Felix for the UFC heads listening. It's like when Sean Strickland almost shot the pizza guy because he delivered a pizza to his house that Sean Strickland ordered. I think these people just they just forget that people like ring doorbells. Also, I always felt that if you have a multi-million-dollar gated home, growing up in Houston, you see this a lot. And 2 streets down, people are dying in the street of fentanyl. Somebody's going to come to your house sometimes. That's just what's going to happen. Like if the Tenderloin's like maybe an hour walk from where you live, those guys love to walk around. That's all they got going on. And so I just never understood when these guys are like, can you believe somebody was in my backyard? It's like, yeah, those guys got nothing to do.
I mean, like, again, you're in a city with like 5 million people.
Yeah.
Sean Strickland would be the first guy to like shoot a home invader, but it still goes to decision.
The jury's just hung. They're like, I don't know.
Yeah. He keeps shooting him in like the elbow and the shoulder.
Yeah.
And like his wife, his dog, and like his neighbor are like, all right. I mean, Sean won all 3 rounds.
Yeah, it wasn't
try
impressive.
to finish him. It's like a 30-26, I guess.
I guess question about the tech thing is, or the house security system is, if the guy is Thiel adjacent, is this a part and parcel of like their tech oligarchy thing? They want to like, what purpose would this serve? It makes my tinfoil hat go.
I mean, I think it's like, it's like in San Francisco, like the media they consume tells them about how crime is out of control all the time. So like, I think they live in a constant state of fear of crime, divorced from any like real world connection to like how in danger they are from crime. Just like read a little bit more here. It says here, other parts of the system are in flux, which is not unusual for a startup. A couple weeks before the demo, Hartz was still toying with the idea of whether Sauron should offer a virtual concierge that sounded like a robot butler minus the robot. And he declined to offer any specific price range for the service. Sauron is still figuring out how to incorporate drones, but it is already imagining more aggressive countermeasures. Hart said, is it a machine that could take out a bad actor with a bullet or something? But it says, Hartz acknowledged that the tech crowd can be prone to apocalyptic thinking, particularly during times of economic upheaval and social unrest. At tech dinner parties after the Great Recession, Hartz said the discussion sometimes turned to best practices for fleeing the United States. In a scenario where someone acquired citizenship and a residency in New Zealand and had a pilot fly them there to safety, people were talking about whether or not you kill the pilot of your plane because the pilot could harm your family. And now, Jake, to your point, I think this is what this product is really about. Because if you're the type of person who would consider killing the person who flew you and your family to New Zealand, because presumably they'll fly back and tell everyone that they just where you're living now, I think that's why these people need to have a home security system that has a drone that could potentially shoot someone, because they're constantly thinking of killing people. And, similar to the Brian Thompson, they're worried that the bill is coming due one of these days.
Yeah.
First of all these guys, I wish we could replace the new shitty form of computer guy who's cool. My company's called Sauron. I lift weights with a new form of psilocybin mushroom that doesn't get you high, but still makes you annoying. Mm-hmm. I miss the guys who just had ponytails and wore the shirts that were like, no, I will not fix your computer.
Yeah. My family drives me nuts. And it's like a squirrel with a big dick or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys computers were so much better when those guys were in charge. But every tech trend, all the shit these guys are doing, it's like every bad AAA gaming trend from 2012, but brought to real life. Yeah. All of it is a way to make real life feel like playing a Ubisoft game from the second Obama term. Mm-hmm. You have an annoying, shitty, cool AI who has a fucking personality.
Yeah.
Your security system gives you wall hacks like every game around that era did. You don't have to know your environment or anything. There's all those games love drones. Every fucking game had some tri-rotor you could use to just take out every enemy in the level. They want us to live in Watch Dogs.
Yeah. I also think I hate this. Man, I feel like Felix, Will, Thomas, you guys, we've all been on the computer a lot. I hate the fact that Curtis Yarvin and Nick Land world was an internet subculture that no one gave a fuck about 10 years ago. And now I feel like those guys like Teal, and so they read these guys and got to know them, and they're like, no, we need to make that real. And then I was like, that'll never happen. We'll never live. Those guys are too obscure. They're too stupid. What the fuck is Minchus Moldbug? That's a Harry Potter ass username. Get the fuck out of here. He's a dark elf. Yeah, I know, right? So all of this tech dystopian monarchy shit I thought was a weird internet thing that would never see the light of day. And now I'm like, oh no, they're going to get it. They're going to build that world for us to live in. And to your point, Felix, I liked playing Watch Dogs because it was one of my favorite games to play, because you could still play it high on Oxy. It was very hard. It was one of those games you could play high as fuck on opiates and still progress. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't want to live there. I don't want to open my phone up and press it and then all the street lights go out,
The only thing I like about Watch Dogs was how repulsive the main character was. I'm sort of I really like that in games when they have a main character who's just detestable. And his outfits were so stupid. When you start making money in that game, you can start buying. They're like, "Ooh, you can customize your clothes," but it's just slightly differently colored dusters and stupid hacker sweaters. Yeah, it's the same outfit, but in every tone.
You just look like the guy from Grandma's Boy, the fucking nerd. Yeah. JP.
Speaking of progressing in Watch Dogs, I did love the quote from RFK Jr. this week, where he talked about how doing heroin helped him focus at school, and he was like,
"I 100% agree."
He was like, "I was a terrible student until I started shooting smack, and then I could sit still and read for hours at a time." So, I mean, let's make this guy Secretary of Education too.
People were getting mad at me. Not mad at me on Twitter. They were just like saying it was corny. I ever went through this phase, but he said that, and it reminded me like 12 years ago when I would take a bunch of pills and piss people off, but I would do the like fake like tragic genius thing to my friends where I'd be like, actually Vicodin like slows my thoughts down.
Oh God.
and it helps me write. I wasn't writing anything. I was just jacking off and not coming, and then like not texting my girlfriend back and like eating Jack in the Box tacos. But my roommates, they'd be like, dude, you got to cut it down on that shit. Like, dude, it's the only thing that helps my pain. I was like 19. It was just fucking annoying. But for a 70-year-old bodybuilder grandpa to say basically that same thing is so sick. Because it's like he's a Kennedy, so he's permanently 15 years old. You know what I mean? Like he'll never ever. He doesn't have to. So he's like, actually, heroin actually made me smart. heroin made me. I was reading Hunter S. Thompson last night, and then I realized that I'm like him. I'm like a trouble. Now I did have sex with a dog, which he didn't approve of. But it's like, what are you? You're an old man who bench presses in jeans. You don't have to do this anymore, dude.
Jake, when you said that on Twitter, I got such like it's not secondhand embarrassment because it's like I also when I was 19, I thought that with like drinking, it was all my problems are because I think too fast.
Dude. Yeah,
I'll be on everyone else's level. Just like a fucking idiot,
dude. Dumb.
No job, not good at anything.
Yeah.
The problem is that I'm too quick-witted.
Yeah. It was like
society.
I'm so glad that I had mean friends, like really, truly, like hard-hitting dickhead friends, because I would say like. I remember like being high as fuck, and like I had like didn't pay the utility bill or something. I was just like, that meme where it's like Sock is asking you to like do their dishes because they have I was like the guy that was like, it's hard for me like to be, man. I just have so much going on, and like the bills help. And all of my roommates were like, "You're fucking gay, dude. You should like you are a fat. You're not a tortured genius. You have a 2.8 GPA in a philosophy program at a state school. You are a fat loser." And I was like, yeah, actually, yeah, that's right. That is
we can't all beat Charles Bukowski.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I would go to like there's this like Carlson Gracie School in Chicago around this same time in my life, very similar to yours. And I would go there just like hungover as shit. And it's like, it's already like pretty hard when you're like drilling in jujitsu at like an intermediate level.
Yeah.
Where they're like, do this and that. And then like grab this guy's tricep and do all this. And I would just be there frozen. And, like, it pissed the other guys off there so bad that whenever they would roll with me, they would do this guillotine choke where they would thread my bicep across my face to like crush my nose. Because I was just like a training dummy that had gin fumes pouring off of him.
It's like it's very, I think some young men have to, you get like different loadouts that you can be.
Yeah.
There's like 5 or 6, there's like listens to Eminem, drinks Monster Energy drink, punches holes in the walls, joins the Marines. And then there's like goes to college, reads Fear and Loathing, and like becomes insufferable from like 18 to 20. And
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm different from everybody that I grew up with because I read books. And everyone's like, oh my God, kill yourself. Like, please kill yourself.
I was gonna say like the hybrid of the listens to Eminem and joins the Marines and reads books and becomes an alcoholic is Secretary of Defense nominee Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth, and I just gotta like the whole Trump cabinet, but his confirmation in particular is turning into the intervention scene from The Sopranos, where it's just like, I came into the Fox News studios early in the morning to do Fox and Friends. Your face was in the toilet. Your hair was in the bowl. Disgusting.
What?
No, my favorite headline to come out of this is for the Daily Beast. Donald Trump's Secretary of Defense pick has made a solemn promise to quit drinking if confirmed to the position. And I love that because it's like, if you want to get someone to quit drinking or doing drugs, give them something they really want in exchange for it. But also like if confirmed, but he's like, I'm still drinking for the confirmation because that's going to be rough. I need a little social lubricant if I'm going to answer these questions.
That was one of the greatest fucking things I've ever heard. Like, even 20 years ago, you would lie. You would be like, oh, I haven't touched a drop in like 10 years or 20 years. But like, no, I'm going to get my shit together when I'm the Secretary of Defense.
But like quitting alcohol is tough. It's like now you're Secretary of Defense and you're like fucking getting the delirium tremors. Like, just keep drinking, man. You need that machine. You need that engine running, purring like a cat. So just maybe like stick to beer or something. I don't know.
They gave every oil and gas welder with like the Secretary of Defense position because they're all alcoholics with Deus Vult tattoos who like throw their wives in the pool too hard and like fucking like every guy that I would like go and like help him fix a generator, like his welding machine, is like roll his sleeves up and it just says like family in like the German font, and he's like, yeah, I'm like, they gave that guy the Secretary of Defense position. The guy that's like, yeah, I mean, personally, I don't like them. I don't want to live next to them. If they want to go wherever they're from, I mean, that's fine. And you have to sit there and nod or he'll just break your jaw. They gave that guy the position.
Well, in order to protect American families, sometimes you have to destroy your own family. You have to be willing to terrorize your own family to protect the rest of our families.
What was
Did you know that the New York Times had covered an email that Hegseth's mom sent to him from years ago where she called him a wife beater and a drunk?
No.
Yeah, no.
Maybe that's like, I mean, that could be like a family joke.
It says,
laughter's a big part of my family.
She wrote him an email in 2018 saying he had routinely mistreated women for years and displayed a lack of character. On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many you have abused in some way, I say, get some help and take an honest look at yourself, Penelope Hegseth wrote, stating that she still loved him. She's since come out and said she sent a follow-up email contextualizing this and taking back her comments, which no one is reporting on. But
do you know
by him.
How fucked up you have to be Matt Gaetz, to be Matt Gaetz and get told no? How bad the cabinet itself to like a guy like Hegseth gets the job or whatever, and then Matt Gaetz is like, God, I hope they don't find out that I'm the devil. Like sitting there sweating like, God, I hope they don't find out about my fucking nephew / son / Cuban rent boy / whatever the fuck. Yeah, like that. The cabinet, like you said earlier, the cabinet, all the picks are pretty insane, but like how fucked up you have to be to get told no to be Matt Gaetz. Like Pete got in, and his own mom is like, "You're fucking crazy,"
Well, I mean, I wonder if she ever sent any like zany videos too, like Weird Al or any of that.
Like a video of him in a diaper or something.
You need to fucking turn your life around. By the way, this is totally not the Rick Astley video again. And he clicks it. Damn it, Mom.
She sends him the video of the squirrel wakeboarding or like water skiing, and then right under it is like, you're a wife beating piece of shit.
Yeah.
Think about how bad it feels when your mom sends like a bitmoji of herself that's like, you're gonna kill your kids.
My mom doesn't know she doesn't know what the bitmojis and emojis actually mean. She creates her own definition, so sometimes she'll send the like one, you know what I mean, which is like I think is like hey, like what's up, but she thinks it means she's like kooky. So she always sends the like tongue out like what you doing emoji to me, but it's like, but it's like she's like, oh, I had a crazy day, and I'm like, I don't have the heart to tell, like, Mom, that one doesn't mean it. Mean you need to use the googly eyed one, the crazy eyed one. I'm imagining Pete Hegseth's mom just sending that to like the Trump cabinet, like Oppo research team, just like the eggplant emoji. It's like she's trying to say that he like beats women or whatever the fuck. Wait, hold on, Will. Do you guys? I actually don't. I know a little bit about the guy. They made him Secretary of Defense, and he's got all the like.
Well, he's not Secretary of Defense yet. I mean, he's confirmed.
What was he? Was he like he wasn't like a tier 1 guy, right? He just was like a war criminal apology. Like he got that.
No, he was a fan of the tier 1 guys that did war crimes, and he got that guy Eddie Gallagher.
He got him.
Since it got him pardoned or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he worked at Guantanamo or something. Like, and then got involved with all these like Coke-backed charities, like Vets for Freedom or whatever. And then he spent like much of the like sort of post-Obama years just like going around trying to like raise money and votes for these candidates, but like getting like lampshade on head drunk. And like they're in the New Yorker thing on this, like they have a story about him being at a strip club in Louisiana and being like that kind of drunk where like he tried to get on the stage and dance with the strippers. And it's just like I feel like, most of like the Pentagon and the CIA throughout American history has been run by hardcore alcoholics.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like they could all just like, they could handle their shit. They could drink like a quart of scotch and then like, have a meeting, I don't know, like send a cable to Chiang Kai-shek or something like that. But, like, this is just embarrassing. He's acting like a fucking like a sorority girl or something.
He's like 62 and he's still like drinking Sky vodka and being like, I need to hear Drake right now. By the way, I was looking at, I have this like obsessive thing where anytime someone who is like, not necessarily like a cabinet level position, but like someone who has to be confirmed by the Senate, I like looking up their military record. Through my extensive research, I think we should get rid of the Bronze Star Medal because Pete Hegseth has one.
He has two.
He has two. You don't have to do anything to get a fucking Bronze Star. I used to think, it's right below Silver Star. That means that you killed like two people in like a cool way. In my mind, like Silver Star, 2 below Medal of Honor, 1 below, Army or Navy Cross. That's like squad wipe. But Bronze Star, I found out you can just get that for like being a nice Marine.
He made the guys.
He made the guys at 5. You should prestige up to Silver Star.
Yeah.
Felix, he made all the guys in his unit like a killer playlist, and they all really liked it. they were bumping it in the Humvee.
That's the type of shit you get a Bronze Star for. Like Bronze Stars in World War II, it was like you were friends with Spears.
No, you have to have like Samuel Fuller's war record.
Yeah.
You have to like done D-Day and liberated a concentration camp.
Tom Cotton got one for like doing his homework on time. It's so fucking dumb.
I feel like when you have, to the degree of like, when you don't really have wars to fight against equal opponents, maybe, you get all of the cool medals that like Audie Murphy got for like squad wiping
Sergeant
Germans.
York.
Yeah, with his bare hands. But you're like, you go to one of those, maybe you go to like a military bar where it's just, quiet professionals, tier 1. It's like, what'd you do? And it's like, I was in Nam, took a lot of ghosts home with me. And it's like, what'd you do? I was like, Desert Storm. I was popping skulls. I can't say all of them were people that should have gone. It's like, what'd you do? Oh man, I listened to For Whom the Bell Tolls like 10,000 times. And and my staff sergeant said I listened to it so good he just gave me Bronze Star. You feel me? Like, what do you do when your enemy is like there's no glory in it? You're just like over in a part of the world where they don't have like a toilet. And you're like, you're just hip tossing brown kids into mass graves for 10 years. So you don't, what I mean?
Yeah, Jake, all that's like almost every Silver Star and like Navy or Army Cross or fucking whatever, or Medal of Honor for the last like 20 years, all of them are just like, he like fought in a battle without having like 4 planes that could kill anyone. For like 3 minutes.
Also,
he went 3 minutes without having like an AC-130 that can just wipe out every human life within a fucking 100-mile radius.
All these guys, like, okay, so it's happening to Tim Kennedy. It recently happened to the lone survivor guy, and the Osama guy got a little while ago. But all of these like tier 1 book writer guys, they're all like getting, like basically called out for like grossly exaggerating pretty much everything about the thing that they did. And the people that are calling them out are other tier 1 operators. And I wonder to what degree if like
the guys who didn't get a book deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like on podcasts, like he only killed like 1 child. He didn't kill 30 of them. And it's and they're like, So I think a lot like, but it doesn't matter. It's the myth. It's like the whole thing. And in Hegseth's case, it doesn't matter that he got a Bronze Star for like playing Call of Duty on a naval ship. What I mean?
He beat Contra without using the cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter. It's just what people believe. He's got a Deus Vult tattoo, which means he is cool, I guess.
They should give the Kelsey brothers a Bronze Star for how fucking hard they make me laugh on their podcast.
They should give Hot Tua the Silver Star for being a fucking champion.
For being a fucking legend. How about that?
Yeah.
My like rule of thumb used to be like, if an army guy said, never ask a guy if they killed someone.
Yeah.
That was like, that always told me like, oh, they didn't do anything. He did nothing.
Yeah.
But now I think it's like, you know, they did a study that was based on like how willing the average person was to kill somebody. And in World War II, it was like sort of like
almost none of them.
Yeah, almost none of them fired in anger at an enemy. They were like too afraid to take a human life. And like the conventional wisdom now is that through an all volunteer army that's gone down.
Mm-hmm.
But like just unscientifically, Tim Kennedy, all these guys, it could be like the same number. It could be like in Tim Kennedy's story, he's like, can I throw a grenade? Like, that's something I would do without training in a way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, are they going to yell at me if I throw a grenade if I'm not in the grenade line?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I think maybe one guy in every division kills guys.
Yeah.
And they all just, like, there's one Spears everywhere who's the best at killing people who, like, are using flintlock pistols. Well, and then everyone else
there's one guy like that. And then, you know, he serves honorably, he comes home, and then gets his health insurance claim denied. And then it's time for, I got another nominee for the Bronze Star, okay? And currently his whereabouts are unknown, as is his identity. But we should leave it there for today's show. I gotta go. I have a holiday party to go to, gentlemen. It's that time of year. But I want to thank Jake and Thomas from Pendejo Time for joining us here today. And
thank you so much for having us.
We'll have links to your guys' show in the episode description. And that does it for us. And check out our ChapoTrapHouse.store to get our BCCI hat for the holidays. Beautiful. You want another cool piece of Chapo merchandise for anyone in your family, get them the Bank of Central Credit and Commerce. I think that's what it's BCC. No, anyway, fuck it. All right, guys, I got to leave, but thanks so much for joining us. Till next time, everybody.
You.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Felix.